firearms and all the needed, what do you call it, equipment that you need in a militia. So we're actually paying double taxes in this country, taxes to a government that just steals all the money and does nothing with it, and then more taxes to an NGO that actually took over the government's responsibilities, especially as the police.
I just want to add to I think it's a very important question, because this is something I always see in the chat and in the comments and everywhere. It's like, why don't you just leave? And I think something, and we've touched on the more practical arguments, but I want to add a spiritual argument as well. It's the idea of, I mean, just from my own personal story, my family's been here since 1688. I'm 9th generation South African. And something that foreigners don't understand, I don't want to sound condescending, but foreigners don't understand the bond we have with the soil and the bond we have with Africa in general. You can just talk to any immigrant that's left South Africa and went to Australia or New Zealand or whatever, and they're miserable. It's like trying to replant a tree from one country and go planting it in another one. And they usually just do it for their children. They don't do it for themselves, because they know it's not going to be a very pleasant experience. A lot of them fall into depression. A lot of them become suicidal. A lot of them really are not happy in their new environment. And they are making all these sacrificing their own happiness for their children, because that's why all these South Africans, when they go to Australia, is they create little South African communities, because they can only really socialize with their own people. South Africans are especially the Afrikaner form, are a very unique niche in terms of we only feel at home with our own people. You can just, for example, if you walk into a Afrikaner community and you're an Afrikaner as well, you just feel at home. Nowhere in the world do you get that feeling. And I don't think a lot of people understand that leaving South Africa is not just it's not just a thing you do because it's easy. It's something that you destroy your own life. Psychologically, it destroys you. It's not something that's just easy money. It's not just about money. There's a spiritual side to it. There's a bond with this country. There's a bond with Africa. And there's a very strong communal feeling as well. And that's why I'm saying most of the people that leave do it for their children. They don't do it for themselves, because especially the Boer culture is just such a tight-knit group. We flourish within our own ranks, and we look after each other. And we understand exactly how we think and how we feel, and how we can look into each other's eyes and exactly know how we feel about a certain situation. We don't get that when we leave the country. So that's another argument that a lot of people don't bring up.
Somebody asked in the comment section, what do we think about Farmlands, the documentary from Lawrence Southern? I think it's a good documentary, but it's only obviously the tip of the iceberg. I'm really looking forward to Katie Hopkins. I see there's another documentary coming up. But if people wants to get like a good sense of what's going on, I would suggest go watch Farmlands. It's quite a good beginning. But if you want to get a real fact-based, very well researched on this matter, I would suggest Aaron's Roots book. That is the best thing that you can get on this topic. That will give you the most information. If you like, I can post a link for you guys in the chat if anybody's interested to the website for that book.
If I get enough.
This may upload, so I might as well say something. Living in where I do, we live around a lot of black people, a lot of them, and the majority of them are pretty good, hard-working people. Until you get into the inner city of anywhere around here, then you always, it's always government fed. They're poor as hell and either have to do illegal things or this or that to get by. But when you think about the connection to land, see, like I'm going to town to get some duck dog food, and I see this ultimate rainbow where you can see the indigo really good. I mean, that makes a rainbow look really wide when it's visible like that. I mean, and once you grow up like this your whole life, the connections to land is amazing. Wherever you grew up, deep inside of you, you always want to be there. It's imprinted on your brain. You're like a little duck, It's what you like, and whatever you grow up smelling, whatever you grow up seeing, all that kind of stuff, it stays with you. It never goes away. And so if you just want to rip, when somebody asks, well, why don't they just leave South Africa? Would you just want to rip part of your mind out? No, you wouldn't. What if somebody just came in your home and said, look, I own this shit now, and why don't you just leave? No, you'd probably stay and fight, as you should. If I'm going to watch the world burn, I might as well put my fucking sunglasses on. And it's so amazing how it's always the people who don't have one stake in the game at all. Not one. That wind up voting on just whatever they hate. They don't work, they don't do shit, but they can go vote on what they hate, which is usually somebody that is paying for their fucking way. I mean, that's what it always is. Because when you hate yourself and you won't get off your fucking ass and you won't do a damn thing, what's the first thing you do if you're like that? Oh, you blame somebody better than you. That's why this whole SJW bullshit. I mean, that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to tear down everything. It's designed to tear down the family. It's designed to cause confusion. It's caused to mix up many things, including races. That never works in the end. Fuck shit.
Enough response out of this and people are interested, then I will consider going over there. I'm not a professional video maker or whatever, but if I talk to people who, like yourselves, can give me information and point and show me whatever, then I'll think about doing it. I know South Africans from different parts, and they come over here, and you can see they've had the life knocked out of them. Like you say, they do it for the kids. A lot of them turn to alcohol and whatever, and they just seem so utterly miserable because they come from a place which is completely different. All right, beautiful, vast. They had farms, or they had big engineering firms, or they were ruddy. One of them was a police officer over there, and they come back to here, and England's not South Africa. It's as simple as that. You know. They're nothing alike, and they gave up all of that, and they did it for the safety of their kids, and they're miserable because really it should have never have got to this, and here it is. So
right. And something to add to that is the idea of language as well. The idea of for especially the Boers is the fact that our language, Afrikaans, forms the very basis of our identity. Every single Boer at his very core is his religion, his language, and then of course his heritage. And if you take away that language element and you replant yourself in a country that's English speaking, you sell a part of your soul. You're never the same.
But our people have been doing well in Australia. They're adapting very well. I think the climate is a lot, the culture is a lot. And I think also in America, some parts of America, if it comes to that, if some country steps up and they give refugees, I think a lot of
Georgia, they would love Georgia. They would. It's wet, it's green, it's hot. I swear, bring them in, and a damn land to be bought and grow whatever the hell you want to down here. South Georgia, or middle Georgia down anyway, and even upper parts of Florida, I'm sure. Good God, if you just must go, I mean, that's where you want to be. You don't want to be. You want to be where you came from, you know, hot, green, very green.
of people will go. There's already a big.
Because I know a lot of even South Africa. I know all of it ain't green, you know, that kind of shit. Hell, they made it that way, you know, in a lot of ways. But just believe me, just believe me.
Big brain drain in this country. Most of our engineers and doctors and highly skilled people leave because of the BEE policies. So I think the economy will collapse eventually in South Africa. I think maybe if it goes on like this very quickly, if they're trying to play for time, I'd say within the next 5 years, the rand will be like Zimbabwe's, if not worse.
now, is there another group of people who are trying to make it into South Africa at the moment from a different country, trying to take over?
And ain't the Prime Minister of England one real piece of shit to go down there and to stick up commie fucking bastards. Fucking commie bastards. That's what it really comes down to. Alright, I'm going to end this because no one cares about watching me anymore. Apparently I'm persona non grata or whatever. So I'll see if this will upload. Hope you get to watch, people. I'm not sure. We'll find out.